Can one good season really make or break a player's career? Players need to go out and prove they're big leaguers every single day, but I think some moments matter way more. Who's coming into 2025 counting on themselves the most? Hey guys, what's going on? It's Flighty. I got another one here for you today. I'm going to be talking about guys who have what I think the most to prove in this 2025 season. So these are guys who didn't quite live up to their previous performances, guys who maybe were injured that held them back. So not only was 2024 bad for them, but I think they really need to have a good 2025 season, or we could see a lot of changes in their career moving forward. I hope these guys have a great 2025 season. I hope they blow their past performances out of the water, especially the first guy, a little biased on him. Thank you guys again for watching. Let me know what you think. Tell me if you think 2025 matters more for these guys, if it matters less. Let me know who you think needs to have a good 2025 season. Let me know anything else you want to talk about. Thank you again for watching. Let's get into it. All right, the first guy going to be Ke'Bryan Hayes of the Pittsburgh Pirates. I said I was a little biased and wanting to see him do well, but I think there's a valid reason to not give up on him just yet. Back injuries plagued his 2024 season and even a little bit before. He cannot seem to get that figured out. There probably isn't a long-term solution at this point. The Pirates have him under contract till 2029, and it's a pretty cheap deal, between $7 and $8 million for the next few seasons. And when you have the kind of defensive talent that he has, if the bat offers you even a little bit, that is an amazing deal. But the Pirates already have Jared Triolo, who can't really hit, but is on an even cheaper league minimum deal, and actually gave you a better offensive season last year than Ke'Bryan Hayes. What does Ke'Bryan Hayes have to prove this year? Well, I think he needs to prove he can at least stay healthy for 130 games, or just show a little bit more of the bat in the games that he does play. There was a rumor a few weeks ago that isn't true in my opinion, that he requested a trade from the Pirates. I still think it's possible he gets moved. Maybe if he starts to hit, he still gets moved. Again, $7-8 million doesn't do a lot for most franchises, but the Pirates are cheap. We'll just be honest. Like, he could get moved just to relieve some of that salary. And it sounds crazy to say, but Ke'Bryan Hayes' WAR per 162 games is 4.6. That is so crazy. He put up back-to-back 4-WAR seasons in 2023 and 2022. He was an above league average hitter in 2023, a 103 OPS plus. He looked great in the second half, 49 games. He hit 299, 335 on base, a 539 slug for an 874 OPS. Also had 10 home runs. So Pirates fans going into 2024, we thought, oh my gosh, Ke'Bryan Hayes finally figured it out. Worst case scenario, he's going to be league average now. And not at all the case. Like I said, the back problems just took away so much on the offensive side. He tried to play through it for too long, missed a lot of time. I feel like at this point, we're probably done with him. You can hold out a little bit of hope, but I'm just not sure where we're going at this point. The next guy is probably the biggest one in this video, Luis Robert Jr. I don't know if that's how you say his name. I don't think anybody knows how to say his name, but that's what I'm sticking with. He probably would have already been traded either last season or during this offseason had he not performed the way he did. It was by far the worst showing of his career. Just 1.4 WAR across 100 games with an 87 OPS plus. Now, the problem with Robert has always been he cannot stay on the field. But in 2023, a 5-WAR season in 145 games, he hit 38 home runs and stole 20 bases. 857 OPS, 130 OPS plus. That was all-star. That's crazy. He got 12th in MVP voting, won the Silver Slugger. We were like, okay, the talent is there. He can really play across a full season. Unfortunately, in 2024, he was on the IL for around 2 months because of a hip problem. And I think the hip problem, it's really hard to swing a bat when you have a messed up hip. It's also really hard to swing a bat when your team loses more games than any other team in MLB history. He had to have like no desire. I can't imagine being in that clubhouse and thinking I have to go out there today again. I feel like you got to cut him a little bit of slack for the season that he had. There also was some attitude problems. There were a few balls he didn't try for, a few ground balls he didn't run out. So again, you kind of blame him a little bit for that. I think you still need to be a professional, but at the same time, I think everybody understands, even if they don't want to admit it. So he needs to prove that he can stay a little bit more healthy. Crazy as it was, 100 games is the second most he's ever played in his career. But he needs to show that skill. His trade value is the lowest it's ever been, probably right now, which is why I don't think we've seen him get moved. The White Sox GM said their lineup was pretty much set. Probably didn't see any big moves coming. I really think that's just a GM trying to get more out of a trade package to say, oh, I guess we will trade him if it's that good. You know, at the same time, he's making $15 million this year, and then he's got club options for 2026 and 2027. So we will see what Luis Robert's future looks like with the Chicago White Sox or anywhere else he may end up. The next guy is going to be the only pitcher on this list, Camilo Doval of the Giants. It was a terrible season for Doval, to put it simply, put it lightly. He did not play at all, like how he had performed in the past 2 seasons. Coming off of his best season in 2023, where he had a 2.93 ERA, was an all-star, and led the National League in saves, he posted his worst performance in 2024 with a 4.88 ERA across 59 innings. He even got sent back down to AAA at one point. I wouldn't say it's abnormal for a young closer especially to struggle, but the problem here is that the Giants got great performances out of the rest of their bullpen. So Doval lost his closing job, and it's definitely not guaranteed heading into 2025. Ryan Walker came in and was lights out, and then the Rogers brothers were both pretty good in their performances. So Doval factors in as like a setup guy, middle relief type guy. The problem specifically for Doval, he allowed more hits, but the walk numbers completely ballooned. He had one of the worst walk rates in baseball at 14.4%. He also gave up a decent amount of hard contact. The slider, which he throws the most, is still a pretty good pitch, but his sinker got absolutely crushed, and his cutter was below average as well. Players hit 375 against his sinker and 284 against the cutter. So what does Doval have to prove? Well, his name has been floated around in some trades. I don't think you'd move away from how good we've seen him be, especially when relievers in general can be a little volatile. You know, reliever ERA especially is not the best predictor of their actual skill. But he's going to have to work really hard and be really consistent if he wants to get that closing job back, or even be like the setup guy in the 8th inning. And the last guy on this list that I'm going to go with is Jonathan India, now of the Kansas City Royals. So the Reds traded away Jonathan India because it looked like they had a bit of a logjam in their infield situation. But then, now a few weeks ago, they traded back for Gavin Lux, and that further complicates everything. So maybe the Reds were just completely done with India, didn't want anything else to do with him. And he goes into a situation in Kansas City where he's probably not even the second baseman. You know, Bobby Witt is going to be at shortstop. Michael Garcia is at third base. And then they also have Michael Massey. Fangraphs Roster Resource actually lists Jonathan India as their DH. And I believe there was another report saying that him and Massey would probably play some left field as well. The defense probably can't get any worse for India regardless of where you put him. Outs Above Average actually liked him in 2024, but the DRS numbers across his career are just not good. Don't forget, Jonathan India won the Rookie of the Year award in 2021 in the National League. He had a 4.1 WAR season. None of his seasons have went quite like they did in 2021, but 2024 was a step in the right direction. Actually an above league average hitter by OPS plus and posted 1.7 WAR in 151 games. I think India's given a pretty good opportunity, now being on another team, getting a somewhat fresh start. Maybe he feels like the pressure is off a little bit since he's probably going to get consistent time at least somewhere in that Royals lineup. I think he needs to prove that he has a defensive position somewhere and that the Reds made a mistake by getting rid of him and keeping everybody else. So yeah, guys, that's it. Players who need to have a good 2025 season, or I could see really bad things happening moving forward. Tell me in the comments if you think I'm right, you think I'm wrong. Tell me who you think needs to have a good 2025. Be sure to also like and subscribe. I got more videos coming. I'm staying pretty consistent with this, so let me know what's good, what's bad. Tell me what you want me to talk about. Tell me what you want me to change. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.